otherwise it takes me ages to find where I'm supposed to cut out. But, shh, I'm talking to
Good,
myself.
good, good tip.
Hey, thanks for listening to our podcast. And this is the first one for Rachel and I, and we're so excited to be sharing some ideas with you and some just like general living stuff. Rachel and I met about, do you reckon it was like 10 years ago or
It was
11?
2012, September 2012.
Wow, 2002, and we were teaching English as a foreign language in Cadiz in Spain, and then we've gone on to do like different stuff, but then found that we're come back full circle back in the same place, and I've been teaching yoga and Reiki and Ayurvedic stuff, and Rachel's gone into project management and entrepreneurial stuff. So we are just sharing our everyday lives and how we've kind of managed to cross over in things that are familiar to both of us, and how it's kind of completely the polar opposite as well sometimes.
Yeah, so definitely contrasts.
Yeah, and we are we we just recently reconnected in Cadiz, and I've been so excited to share different things with Rach about, like, because we're both in our 40s and life's kind of changing a little bit with the people around us. And one of the first things that I wanted to share with Rachel was about how, with it being summer and so hot, we kind of got straight into like my number one tip that I keep giving everybody, but I forgot to explain it properly. And there's this amazing thing as it's the summer and everyone's getting overheated and maybe like infections as well and stuff from being like traveling too much. And there's a great recipe for coriander water, and you just soak 3 teaspoons of coriander seeds overnight in water and drink them in the morning. So, and it's been great for my mum and hot flushes and things like UTIs and stuff. And that was probably one of the first things I shared with Rachel when we reconnected.
But you didn't explain it very well then either, because you're on record now. Okay, fair enough. You said 3 teaspoons of coriander water, soak them overnight. What I did was 3 tablespoons of coriander
Oh,
water,
three
coriander
tablespoons. I didn't.
seeds, and and you didn't tell me to crush them. And you mentioned just then not to crush them. So it's 7:30 in the morning. I was going for my morning walk stroke run, and I crunched down 3 tablespoons of coriander seeds. And about 20 minutes later, I was on the beach, and it felt like a eucalyptus forest in my stomach. Like, it was definitely cooling. It definitely felt medicinal, uh, but it was odd. But anyway, since then, I've done them crushing, and I felt a UTI coming on like a week or so ago, and I did it, and in fact, I felt it coming on in the morning, and I messaged Victoria and said, I can't soak them, and you said boil them. So I've actually been crushing them like using a wine bottle as a rolling pin,
Perfect.
usually an empty wine bottle, which is probably the reason I'm getting the hot wee wees in the morning. And it cleared it. It cleared it like within an hour. I was like peeing normally again. And I was like, this is, it really did work. So that is a great tip. I would use that. And in fact, I'm on holiday at the moment, and I'm going to go to the supermarket and buy some coriander seeds, because I think they're there. I've done it. I've probably done it about 5 or 6 times now,
Oh,
just for
wow.
different reasons. I mean, it's been like 30, 35 degrees, 36 degrees where I've been. And yes, it's, yeah, I don't know, it's just felt really good thing to do. So good tip, but crush them first, people. Rolling them with an empty wine bottle from the night before is fine.
Yeah. Someone else said to me they roll it with like use a rolling pin or anything that they bash them with. And yeah, I realised about the straining. I think, so, when it's something you do so often, that you totally forget. And if it's someone like that's a client, that's a patient, I've got a little PDF visual that I send them that has all of the details in it. So sorry, Rach, but yeah, so glad.
I still recommend 3 tablespoons crunched, softened overnight and crunched down. Like that was pretty intense experience. It felt koala-like. So that was a good one. And I'm in Pisa, Italy at the moment, and it's going to be 36 degrees today. And I am going to be traveling just on a bus. I'm going to be meeting lots of friends, and then it's going to be a lot of alcohol drinking. So have you got any tips to cool down when I can't get my hands on coriander seeds?
Coconut water as well.
Oh, yeah, that's got potassium in, right?
Yeah, but if you just have to look in. Oh, I don't know about in Italy, but have a look for one that doesn't have loads of sugar and weird stuff in it.
Portugal, they've got a good one. They've got Brazilian natural coconut. And I was reading the label the other day, and it's got ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid. Now that's good for kidney stones. So I had potential kidney stones a few years back because living in Cardiff, I always drink the tap water, and which is fine because people do drink tap water in Spain. It's just British people that seem to think everyone's got plastic water bottles at home. But apparently it can give you kidney stones. And a friend of mine had one, and I said ascorbic acid is the right. And so she went through a load of specialists to come to the last specialist months later who said ascorbic acid. And that was in, and I noticed that's in coconut water. Maybe you could fact check that for me.
I will fact check it for you for next time. But that's amazing. And it does work. Like the coconut water will keep you cool. But if you've got any, if you've got like a spray bottle, like a spritzer or something that you can spray on your face.
I have a spritzer, but it's white wine and lemonade.
You're going to say that. If you've got like a little travel, like squirty bottle, rose water.
I've had that before, actually. It's really good. And I just bought a rose water face wash, and I'm like, oh, my skin feels great.
It's great for, I've just transferred everything to rose for the summer because it's cooling. So I've got rose face wash, rose moisturizer, and rose water in a little bottle.
Did you make it?
No, I did.
Kids.
Say that again.
You remember making rose perfume as kids?
Oh my God, yeah, I loved it. And I love roses. And I was going to do a little video actually with roses and like wiping roses over my face, but then I couldn't find them easily in where I was. So I just thought, oh no, I'm just going to squirt rose water in my face instead.
So with Kevin Spacey with the teenager with roses falling all over her, you could do it a bit like that, couldn't you?
Yeah, I could. Maybe that would be like our next video. We'll both get ourselves covered in roses. And cucumber. If you've got cucumber, like you can put slices of cucumber, like just make a face mask with slices of cucumber.
I imagine that's nice, actually.
So nice, so cooling. Or cucumber in your water as well during the day. So if you're out drinking, maybe have some cucumber water as a side water.
Did you imagine me going down Wetherspoons and asking them if they got any cucumber water?
You're not going to Wetherspoons today?
No, I'm not going to Wetherspoons today.
Oh, how's Pisa?
So it's great. Have you ever been here?
Yeah, once with Dave actually.
Oh, really? Yeah. So I was really impressed. It's something I've always wanted to see. I climbed up it yesterday. Quite quickly, actually. I was quite proud of myself because I was watching all these people having coronaries at the little stops, and it really is leaning, right? It's really leaning.
It's really leaning. That's what I thought too, and I was like, it's not a joke. It really does lean.
Really. Such a leany tower. So yeah, I did that quite early in the morning, and then I came back down, had a bit of a rest actually. And I'm on my own here, so I'm just kind of beating to the sound of my own drum, which is quite good. I had friends kind of who were here, but I don't know, we didn't end up meeting up. I'm meeting up with them today, but it was good because so much has happened. I've been traveling so much. I've just lost my job, I've literally just finished that, that job after sort of nearly 5 years, which was a lot of
Wow.
very challenging, shall we say. And then I think I just needed these 2 days just to be on my own and just to, before I go and meet 22 people in a villa. It's going to be like Big Brother or something, although we all know each other and none of us have got Big Brother bodies. And then, and also, so I've been roped into doing a stand-up gig for my friend's 50th. So I've written all the jokes for that as well. So it's been a really nice, chilled couple of days.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm going to go and meet some friends. We're going to a Michelin star restaurant tonight for a degustation, 9
Oh,
courses,
oh my God.
€150. Not
9
bad.
courses.
Yeah, but
9.
it's not like 9, chicken and leek pies or anything. It will be, morsels,
Yeah.
9 morsels with pairing wine, and no doubt we'll have like we'll have a wine chaser or an Aperol chaser on the go.
Oh, how lovely. That kind of, this is a bit, but that's all, everything that what you've just done kind of sounds a little bit like how our retreat might be, of having like a little
Yeah.
bit of like downtime, a little bit of quiet time to recoup, and then having like getting everybody's like confidence and being able to speak and looking at their ideas. And it's so great that you'll be a great role model for going out on your own and being able to be in front of people and articulate what you're doing.
So should we talk about the retreat then? Because obviously you're experienced, you've done it. I'm be pulling on your experience, and I see mine as a bit of an add-on, and it
Yeah.
is like the yin and the yang, and it's almost like your retreats are really full on hippy dippy. Is there another word for hippy dippy?
uh, no, let's go. Hippy dippy's all right. Yeah.
Hippy dippy's okay. And then mine's obviously more practical project management tools, setting objectives, goals for people who are either in business or, have a career or want to start a business or whatever it might be, but just sort of setting goals and giving them tools they can use, giving them introduction to project management as well, if that's like an avenue they want to go down, like I did 5 years ago. So it's like, what it seems like the yin and the yang.
Yeah, but I think that's great because most people, like I feel like, although I'm in sometimes in a little bit of a bubble because I think, oh yeah, everybody's doing what I'm doing, but they're not. I'm kind of in the minority.
I mean, what did you say to me the other day? You said to me you wanted me to do a sexual awakening workshop with a man called Randy.
It was, it was,
And get my cunnilingus rising.
it was Kundalini. Kundalini being like a type of yoga, and Kundalini awakening is when you feel the energy rising from your perineum. So like your downstairs parts kind of, but feeling this energy come up and open you up to the universe. And I temporarily forgot everyone didn't talk like that or think that was.
Oh no, what the hell you're talking about? I'd love to try. I'd love to try, but not online with a guy called Randy.
It's a lady. It's a lady called Randall, but I call her Randy. So it then sounds like, as we're not American and we're English, it sounds like a Randy person teaching you how to get excited.
Yes, exactly. Sounds like the Bikram yoga guy, because he ended up being a bit. What's the word? Sexually inappropriate, didn't he, with people?
So many of them that
Sure. Go on.
so many of them that used to follow Ashtanga, and the guy that had brought that into like popularity, he also got found, well, recently after he's passed away, there's been loads of press about how he'd abused students, and also sat Shivananda, like almost all the kind of like predominant popular like yogi figures that I guess were at like the beginning of the century or maybe in like the 50s and the 60s. And yeah,
So there's another one as well, not just Bikram, where they where he was a bit of a fraud, was it?
No, Patabi Joyce, who I think was trying to get. So what I was talking about, that like the perineum and kundalini awake, but also in all that downstairs area, there's something called Mula Bandha, which is like your
Mm.
pelvic floor. And this particular yogi master was supposed to have put his fingers in women to help them feel where their Mula Bandha, like pelvic floor, was without consent.
Oh God! And how old was he? I mean, it sounds like a porn name. What was his name?
Patabi Joyce.
That's a porn name anyway. So that would be the first red flag. Second red flag. How old was he? And did he look like the Bikram guy, which is like an old, hippie? Yeah,
Same
gross
type of
man.
thing.
And granddad to do it, basically.
And then I was recently reading. There's an amazing woman called Uma Dinsmore Tully who's done like a book called Yoni Shakti, and she's looks at like women's cycles, and she'd looked at some of these yoga lineages where they just tell you like it's by men for men, and they kind of order you what to do, and everyone stands in a room. And so her classes are more like a 2 hour experience where she asks all the women in the room where they are in their cycle or where they are in their lives. And then the whole class is designed for each of those seasons. Like if you
Mm.
are bleeding, then you're in like winter season or autumn.
I'm
And
autumn at the moment.
are you autumn?
And I'm feeling a little bit irrationally angry the last couple of days.
Oh, can you, well, it's not, you're kind of really challenging yourself on the big social thing if you're in autumn as
I
well.
know, right? Yeah. So hence these 2 days downtime has been
Oh,
good.
that's so perfect for you to recoup and get ready. How long have you got with everyone?
2 weeks. So for the first week, 22 people, and then the second week there's going to be six of us.
Oh, when you get to your second week, you're going to be probably
Well,
like flying.
what I'll probably be in my winter, aka bleeding Auntie Flo's in town, and
Oh,
then I'll probably be a wreck because I'll probably just be a wreck. Shall I mention about me doing Bikram yoga when I was in Australia?
yeah, I'd love to. I didn't know you did Bikram yoga when you were in Australia.
Well, so I was suffering from a lot of back problems in Australia, and I was going to Pilates, which was $50 a class, I might add. And this is back
Whoa,
in
like,
what, 2005, 4, 5. And
wow.
anyway, then I decided to sort of downsize my life and my career because I was in a really stressful job and obviously couldn't afford that. So I started doing Bikram yoga, which I since found out uh, physiotherapists call the McDonald's of yoga.
Really?
Yeah, because they get everyone into a hot room and you overstretch and you get into positions that you shouldn't. And what I didn't know, what no one told me in all the times I was going to physio and as well as chiropractors, osteopaths, etc., is that I had bulging discs, which meant that when they were bulging out, you rest.
Yeah.
And when they go back in, that's when you can do exercise, but you need to obviously be really careful. So I had L4, L5, lumbar 4, lumbar 5 bulging discs for years. I was in agony for like 3 or 4 years. Anyway, so started doing Bikram yoga, obviously did it during a bulging disc time. Did that position, when you're standing on one leg, you got your leg, I think it's called the arrow. You're standing on one leg, you've got one hand in front of you, and you've got the other hand supposedly grabbing your back. You're not your back foot. I'm not a dog, but your
Okay.
foot at the back. What's that
He
called?
called it different things, but in regular yoga it's called Natrajasana, dancer pose, but in Bikram it's straighter. So you're
And
holding.
dancer makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. Well, I couldn't get into, not quite get into that position, but more or less. And then what happened? My disc slipped.
I can
And
just
then
visualize
I
it.
sort of, I'm in this like stinking sauna room. And then, so I'm sort of saying to the teacher, can you come over? And she comes over and I said, I've really hurt myself. I don't know what's happening. She goes, just lay there and don't join in. And of course, I looked at the kind of clock and we were like 10 minutes into a 90-minute session. So idiot here gets up and starts carrying on. So what I then did is I slipped the disc more and more and more, and then that hit the spinal nerve, or the spinal column, or they call the cauda equina. So once it gets to sort of lumber four, I think it, rather than to be a solid column, it's like little horses' tails.
Mm.
So it's kind of broke all the nerves. Anyway, long story short, I ended up in hospital for 2 months, had an operation and couldn't walk for nearly a year, and was told by the surgeon I'll be lucky if I walk again. So
Wow.
don't do Bikram, people. Don't do it. And in the physio center in the hospital, they said it's really common. Yoga injuries are really common, especially Bikram, because you overstretch. And we're not all 19-year-old women ex-ballet dancers.
Yeah, I think then as well there was maybe less awareness of it. So
Yeah.
now everybody's almost like the other way around. Everyone's so cautious, which is obviously better than being like too gung ho. But there's so much Pilates around, so much physio, so much listening to your body. I feel it's less.
Yeah. But I still do yoga. I love yoga. And I just know what I can't do and what I can do and what I can't do.
That's what, though, because you're doing it every morning, aren't you?
When I'm in Cadiz, I do it on my rooftop and I love it. Sometimes it's just more stretches and a few sun salutations than, sort of eagle pose and all that sort of thing. Kind of hard to do on your own. I follow Annie Clark on YouTube.
Oh, yes, yeah. Oh, I just had so Annie Clark. I haven't followed her on YouTube, but one of the first retreats I ever did, my friend Sue bought this Annie Clark cooking book because she's got a book that's got yoga and cooking in it.
To soul or something.
That's it. Yeah. And I remember my friend bringing it, and I was like, oh, I rolled my eyes and thought, oh, it's another one of those yoga people that do
Made a load of money.
recipes and yeah. But this book was great, and we used all those recipes for retreats because they're super easy to make and they're gorgeous. They're really delicious. So
You
just
could use that
well,
after it.
yeah. Let's use it on our retreat, and yeah, just gorgeous. And then other people can make it easily as well. All vegetarian, but because our retreat isn't going to be strictly vegetarian, it's so
Absolutely not.
easy for us to just do meat on the side because you can have vegetarian dishes and some.
Absolutely. Absolutely. God, let me tell you what I had last night.
Mm.
It was some sort of steak, sort of sliced and then medium rare with blood, served with rosemary and salt.
Ooh.
And it was delicious. But the trouble when you travel on your own, you end up eating for two. I mean, that was a two-person meal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said it's a smaller one, but it was a lot. I was so good though. So I thought, oh my God, I'll absolutely do this at the retreat. Really easy, really tasty, and
Oh,
really
lovely.
healthy, right? Because you're not bloated, even though I did have the half a loaf of bread that they give you before.
Well,
And I did have those potatoes on the side as well.
it's also really good for. I haven't managed to like eat much meat, but it's really good for if you have like low libido or you're in that kind of time of life where your progestrogen's dipping a little bit and you want to get more lift and more energy. So might be great for the people that we're and me and for the people that we're potentially attracting.
And generally, so I've got low iron, so I take iron tablets. So I thought, okay, I'm coming up for the winter of my cycle.
Yeah.
It's a And it's true, isn't it? Like if you have these red meats with green vegetables, it's
Mhm.
supposed to, especially spinach, broccoli, you're supposed to absorb more of the iron.
Yeah, totally. I think it's the vitamin C helps the iron get absorbed into your body. And conversely, if you don't want to absorb it, you have tea,
Like green tea.
any tea,
What
like
PG tips?
PG tips, the tannin in the tea. My cousin has this disease where I've forgotten what it's called now. I think it's called hemochromatosis. And so she's got too much iron production. So she
Mm.
has to have things that counteract it. So instead of like, she has to do the opposite. So she drinks tea with food so she doesn't absorb the iron.
Gosh, that's interesting. And there's tannin in red wine, isn't there? So would that work the same way?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
What a bummer if it does, because you'd be having meat and red wine, wouldn't you?
They absolutely complement each other. Yeah.
Oh, we
You're going
should.
to fact check that.
I'll fact check that. Yeah, what we
You're
need
going
is
to fact hunt.
we need somebody like on Joe Rogan who's in the background, kind of like checking on Google to see what's factual and what's not.
We'll get so rich, we get Annie Clark. We'll employ her to do that.
with her bowl and her yoga.
Okay. So let's talk about the retreat then. So we know what we're going to do. We know what our model is. We think it's a good model. We're thinking Portugal, the Algarve, and we're thinking the end of January.
Yep.
And the place you looked at, we won't mention that yet until that's sorted. But I mean, it looks great. I mean, the Algarve will be cold. It will be cold, but it'll be blue skies and sunshine. But it also might rain. But that's going to be better than any weather. Then, you know, that's still going to be better than the UK, Ireland, Northern Europe. You know, just having people come and visit me, like, to give people background. I live in Lisbon, and you know, people visit me. It's amazing how they all come out the woodwork when you live in a cool place. They want to come and spend the whole weekend with you. And
then it's quite easy to find, isn't it? Like, no one wants to come to Cadiz because it's
no one wants to come to Cadiz because of the extra hour trip. And now, exactly.
It's funny.
Well, what's funny is that when they go back and you remember, that's why you only spend an hour a month with them.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
I think it's worth the extra hour though, because you haven't got as many people there as well, and it's beautiful.
I think Cadiz, is just one of the best places on earth. So we should probably do a retreat around Cadiz if the Portugal one goes really well.
Yeah, I just haven't found a large villa that's in like where we are in Cadiz.
In Cadiz. No, I mean, you wouldn't really. I mean, I think the max you could ever accommodate would be about 5 people, to be honest. If they had one of those, if you had one of the big atticos that were rented on Airbnb, I think that's all you'd be able to get. But, you know, maybe still do that as a small.
Yeah. Or
Cornell. Absolutely, yeah. Might be better in Cornell, but you can't really go swimming in the sea there. You can go more surfing.
Oh, okay. No, yeah.
Strong.
Yeah, let's stick with Cadiz because I like going in the sea without.
Yeah, me too. It's fabulous, isn't it?
So nourishing. So in Portugal, I think January though, because in England, I've done retreats before at the end of January where it's been focused on detoxing and cleansing out your body. But Ayurvedic,
that's quite good. I like that idea. Yeah.
Well, it's funny, but Ayurvedically, it's the worst time of year to detox.
Oh, right.
Because it's cold and your body's not in a place where it can be kind of stripped and regenerated. It still needs nourishment. So the best time to do it is spring, as the season starts to change and it's getting warmer because your body's ready to have less food and look after itself and regenerate. So it'd be more nourishing but cleaning. So maybe we do like clean food as opposed to like detoxing, but it could be detoxing for your mind because of all the clutter and rubbish that people get over Christmas, and lots of people get into that like keeping up with the Joneses, you know, of like what Christmas presents they're going to get for each other, or starting to come into this comparison, and being able to invite people to move out of comparing to someone else and just getting into themselves and clearing the rubbish out from their head.
And just, I guess, for our million listeners to know, like, you know, you and I, we are child free and we don't have any of that at all, do we? So I really struggle when I go home for Christmas. Firstly, I feel duty bound to go home. And I've lived outside of the UK for longer than I've lived inside the UK. And yeah, I just find like we don't really have any young kids anymore, but we're much more modest with our presents and the presents we give people. But I do find it's just literally one day we're all at someone's house eating this, you know, massive roast dinner. that's taken hours and hours to cook, and then the next day we're at someone else's house eating exactly the same food. And I'm like, can't we just like, have the leftover meat and I'll do some Greek dish or something
Yeah.
like some. And it's like, no, must not move away from tradition. So I just can't wait till the whole thing's bloody over, to be honest.
Yeah, I've always felt like that. We've got 7 and 11-year-old, so they're fun
You've
and they're
got
still,
kids, yeah,
yeah,
that's kind of nice, right?
we're still playing and playing games and stuff, which is so cool. And it's because I've always been weird. I've always had like a different taste of food. I think I can't remember what it was last time, but on Christmas Day previously, I've had stuff like maybe an omelette for Christmas Day dinner, and I've had like half an avocado.
Rounds with the meat and all the trimmings, and you've got an omelette.
Yeah, because for me, right, roast dinner is like my absolute nightmare. I can't stand it. It's heavy. I've generally been vegetarian all my life. I've just been trying to eat meat in the last couple of years. So it's all meat focused. Roast potatoes, the veg is normally like annihilated. Gravy,
Yeah,
I don't get gravy.
oil
What's
beyond
gravy? Yeah.
recognition.
And I really don't like gravy. I can't,
Man, you really just nothing. All of that sounds just like wonderful to me.
really. The only
Yeah.
thing I like is stuffing.
Okay. And yeah, the stuffing is very nice. That's probably the most processed thing of the whole
I know.
meal,
But
apart from gravy, depending if how you make it. But yeah,
so I wouldn't have any of the, and yeah. And then it also,
like sage and onion omelette.
yes, so I just had an omelette and my brother, or I've had, well, when I was younger, my stepdad used to cook curry for me. So I'd have curry and rice. But then as he's got a bit older, he just like forgotten. So this was why I had an omelette because everyone was having dinner and I thought, oh, normally he's like whipped me up a curry. And so I'm thinking there's going to be a curry coming out and there's not. There's just,
Oh no! Do
so I was
you think
like,
it's had signs of dementia?
yeah, I do actually. But I
What
didn't
did
mention
what did
it.
he have for food?
Roast dinner. Well, he'd have roast dinner, but everyone knows that I don't like it. So they'd
They
normally,
did make you a veggie curry.
but yeah, on this occasion, there was none of that happening. So I was like, right, I'm going to have an omelette. And my brother finds it hilarious. So he'd take a picture of me, like with everybody having, like slyly, so I don't know, and just send it to my dad with like laughing emojis on it, going, look what she's doing now. Uh, and I think I had avocado for a dessert with some salt and pepper and herbs on it.
Oh my God. And a whole avocado or just slices? Do you make
Half.
it look pretty?
I did make it look pretty. I cut it in half and then sliced it, and because then it's like
Fan it out on your plate.
plan it out. Yeah, they did that on the retreat that we had in Tarifa. Actually, it was really really lovely. But here, I'm from a house of they love sweets. So for Christmas Day pudding, there's Christmas pudding, Christmas cake. There's normally like a cheesecake. Faye makes like a Bailey's weird like Bailey's like bread pudding thing, and
Mm.
there'd be about 5 different desserts
And they'll go, well, everyone will eat them.
over like the like Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and the next day. Yeah,
I could just skip desserts altogether, really. Um, and a Christmas pudding. I mean, that's just like we're not poor anymore. We don't have to cook like that. It's not the war. Our sweets don't have to, the puddings don't have to last 5 years in case of the World War III. Come on, some fresh fruit and veg, people. Fresh, no, not veg on a dessert.
do you know what
Yeah,
it's great to
it's quite popular,
find?
Victoria. Everyone got their hats on like a jaunty angle, and they're all getting a bit drunk. And then there's you just eating your fanned out avocado.
Yes, yeah, but well, I'm not. My dad is more of a drinker, but at my mum's house, no one's a real drinker. Like everyone's quite modest on the drinking front. I used to be the drinker, and now I'm
You've
just a little bit of a drinker.
turned it around.
Yeah. But everyone does have a hat and doing the jokes and the crackers and and all
And
that
you've got
stuff.
the kids there. It's that house that you've got the young kids there.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, so
leading.
it's fun. But it'd be so nice to have a Christmas, like for us, for people like us, that was just fresh fruit and vegetables and none of the normal stuff.
I'd still make
You still
a
have,
roast,
but with crunchy veg.
but with crunchy veg, the meat medium, like not cooked overnight, like medium, and maybe like again, all lamb is so expensive in the UK. It's my mum's favorite meat.
Oh,
In the UK they even have they have the security tags on legs of lamb because people steal them. Because they're about 25 like pounds for like a leg of
really?
lamb. And just think, well, you could just make a really nice Greek dish out of that. It'd be fabulous. We need some Greek friends. Anyone Greek wants to come on the retreats?
Let's find some Greek. We met some. Didn't we meet a Greek person, or was that a Turkish person?
They were Turkish, yeah.
All right.
Sailors. The sailors in Cadiz.
Yeah. So I think our retreat's going to be so nice and nourishing, and there'll be yoga and meditation to help you get nice, like solid tools that you can use to help you work, so that you can help clear your brain, so you can be on top of your game with it, whether it's like new ideas, starting a new business, going for a promotion, leading your team, any of those skills that you can add in. And then food, because I think like people at work as well. I remember when I was working in an office or even like teaching at schools, people don't nourish their brain and their body during the day, do they? So they're on like coffee and energy bars and things like that, or cakes or donuts or biscuits or whatever people bring into the office. So then that gives you brain fog, so you can't perform best.
Yeah, exactly. I remember, I mean, gosh, I haven't worked in office now for 3 years with thanks to COVID. But yeah, it just completely goes against the grain as
Mm.
well. Like having to get up really early, be in a cramped car, get somewhere. I mean, whenever, even like in the 90s, when I first started working in office work, I always felt like I was in a prison.
Oh, did you?
And I felt that the clothes you had to wear to work, I felt like it was a body bag. Even from a really young age, I felt like it was a body bag. Weird when you think about it. I mean, men wear ties. That is a noose
Yeah.
around your neck. You
Yeah.
know, it's just weird. Being stuffed in these cubicles. Um, so yeah, and sometimes be so tired. Yeah, you'd have a coffee, then you'd have another dip, so you'd have some sugar to get up again. And then, now I have like siestas after lunch. I just lay down for half an hour, or sometimes like especially with our cycles,
Mm.
sometimes I'm so overwhelmed by the amount of Teams calls there are, or the amount of people I've had to speak to. I just have to go and like lay down in a dark room for 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I would do that in offices. I would just go to the bathroom, close the door, and just put the lid down on the toilet and just sit on the toilet and I'd set an alarm on my phone. And people generally didn't notice I was gone. But you just need to have these little sort of, darkened pods to
Yeah.
to regenerate or to what's the word, like just process stuff.
Maybe we should bring that into like Western working culture, like in places like London or Ireland, of the idea of dark pods for siestas to help people regenerate.
You'd have like one of those seats that go back, so they're like a business class seat, so they're kind of
Yeah.
what's the word, cradling you, really good for your back. And then just a pod you close down. Oh
And just
man.
nice kind of like twinkly music, and like the pod could be have stars on the roof.
I think it's been done, those sleeping pods. I've kind of heard of them before.
Me too, but I can't get the information out of the ether into my brain.
What information?
Like my memory can't remember where the sleeping pods have been. I don't know if I've seen it on a movie or whether it's in reality.
I think I didn't. I just read it in the paper, but never actually seen it. I've done one of those float tanks. Have you ever done the flotation tanks?
Right. Did you
So
like it?
yeah, I did it where I lived. I think I was living in Australia. I think I did a course of 3, and you go and you're in like quite a small place, but you don't bump into the sides. Obviously, they take away all your senses with sight and sound,
What did you
and
do it for?
Probably because it was just like the cool thing to do at the time, and I had more money than I had more money than I could spend. So really, I would feel more relaxed floating in the sea. Well, unfortunately, I'm so big, I can't really float in the bath.
I
Well, you have
don't.
to put loads of salt in, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I haven't tried that, but yeah, floating in the sea.
Mum would
We-
go, a table salt. She definitely got. She's the only house that I stay in that's got a big normal sized bath.
Oh,
Floating in the sea when it's not choppy, and feeling safe there. You've got sun on your face, your eyes closed. You can kind of hear people around. Oh man, for me that's just paradise.
oh, well, do you know we're gonna have to like bring ourselves to a close
Oh,
now,
God, I'm
but
going to one.
what we could do is next time we're together, there's the breathing. I'm doing this breath work training, and which is going to include a little bit in our retreat. But there's also you can do the breathing in water.
Really?
I haven't tried it yet.
Take it away. It doesn't have to be guided. It's just something you take away and do yourself, you mean?
Yes, but I'm going to try it first and see how it goes because I think it might be because if you're floating and then so the idea is that you're submerged in water, but you can also do it with like a snorkel on and
Oh,
with
yeah.
your face down doing it. So I'll try it when and see how it goes. But it should be really like nourishing, like you're in the womb and really like
So it's
protective
face down, not face up.
either. But you kind of
I
want to
mean,
be
face up the snorkel, you'd be breathing in all the water because the snorkel's like pointed
face
up.
up, no snorkel, face down with a snorkel.
I like that idea. And also when you are snorkeling, you're underwater, you hear that sort of Darth Vader breathing.
Hmm.
It's kind of cool. Yeah.
Let's get some snorkels and do it in Cadiz.
Okay. Well, let me know because I'm on holiday for 2.5 weeks. So I'll be doing lots of sea swimming. Is there anything? What can you give us any sort of tips about breathing? Try
Conscious.
and give me concise tips, not like the coriander seeds
All
tips.
right. For water, if you're in water, like breathing underwater.
Or this breathing technique that you want to try.
So it's part of something called rebirthing, but really all it is conscious breathing. So
Right.
you're just breathing without if you think about when you sit and notice your breath, have no stops in your breath. So
Mhm.
sometimes you might be breathing in, breathing out. So this would be so it's like a constant flow. So you almost
It's very
doesn't have to be that quick. It yeah, it can be whatever pace you want it to be. So you could just try it's more focusing on like it's a wheel and you're inhaling so you effort inhale and let go exhale, but as if you're consciously moving on this wheel with your breath and
only through the nose.
only through the nose.
That might be quite weird with a snorkel.
You could do it only through the mouth, just one channel. So you can do it
One-
through the mouth too. Actually, for me, it feels more intense through the mouth. I did it last night in a mouth breathing session, and it was much more. Sometimes your body kind of starts to vibrate, and it's really good for clearing out energy, low vibrations, rubbish in your system.
How long would you recommend doing it for?
You could try. I'd try it not in the sea first for 20 breaths.
Is that all? Okay.
And then you could go up to an hour if you want to, but I'd start with 20 breaths
Do an hour.
and then just keep doing it in 20 breath increments. So if you can do 20 and then try and do like 5 minutes or 8 minutes, 10 minutes.
So 20 breaths and then what? Just return to normal for a few breaths and then 20 breaths again.
So good that you ask good questions. 20 breaths and then you can either go around again or you could hold your breath, hold it
Mm.
in. And if when you hold it in, draw your belly button in.
Mm.
The idea of that is you're sending energy upwards to your third eye,
Mm.
like the kundalini awakening. And then breathe out, and hold your breath out. So hold it in as long as you can hold it in, hold it out as long as you can hold it out, and then go again.
It'll be good meditation because you'll be focusing on the breath. You won't be focusing on your brain chatter.
Oh, no, yeah, it's great.
Is it? So I know a guy when I worked in Australia, and he got done for drink driving, and he said he went into the prison cell or the holding cell, and he just did breaths like you did, because apparently that gets your, I don't know, metabolism or your blood or whatever. So by the time they actually breathalyzed him again, he was under the limit.
And he metabolized all of his blood. Well, it does.
Is he talking bollocks?
No, I don't think he is talking bollocks. I mean, I haven't seen the science of it, but it does. It cleans your blood and it cleans your system. So when you're holding your breath, I've got this little video on like breath holding, especially if you hold your breath out, it's causing your body to get CO2 tolerant, and then it starts going into this repair mode and getting rid of toxins. So maybe that works with alcohol as well.
How do you breathe? Hold your breath out.
So if you're breathing out, and then to make sure it stays out, hold your nose and hold your breath out. And it's called a BOLT test.
Ooh.
Body oxygen level test. So most people should be around like 20 seconds. And if you're under 20 seconds, then you may have some fitness issues. But
20 seconds is quite a long time to hold your. I totally get that now. I've never thought about that before. Obviously, when you hold your breath, you hold it underwater. You know, you feel like maybe 30 seconds. But I never thought about breathing out.
Should we do it? 20 seconds. Okay. All right. So.
Oh no, I'm going to feel like I'm ill for. Okay, right, come on then.
It's only 20 seconds. Let's have
breath. We take the breath in first. I'm just sitting up straight now.
Let's have 2 or 3 breaths, normal breaths. Okay, breathing in, breathing out. Hold your nose, hold your breath out.
Nearly 26.
Great, it's not that bad, is it?
Just had a cigarette. And I was like, oh no.
If you do that every day, it helps build. So I mentioned it to Kim actually. I was going to send her a little video that I did because it helps heal your body and regenerate your body, because you're getting used to the CO2 and it's bringing in like CO2 tolerance, and it works with cleaning our cells.
Good, I like it. And we'll have to discuss you'll have to give me tips in later podcasts, like for giving up the fags and, that whole addiction cycle thing of, if I'm not smoking, I'm drinking too much. If I'm not drinking too much, I'm Valium. If I'm not, you know what I mean? Like repeat.
Well, what we could do
I think it's perimenopause related, but
what we could do as part of our like podcast series, I could make a little program for you that involves like some asanas, because you can do asanas connected to addiction. And honestly,
what's an asana?
A yoga pose.
Okay, but it better not break my back.
No, they're more kind of like chest expansion, but like bridge pose, camel pose, anything to get like, but a lot of it's breath related and heart chakra related. So you could, if you're doing yoga anyway, you might as well do the yoga poses that might help you focus on releasing addictions.
I can do bridge, but I think camel one, isn't that like kind of like a back bend? I can't do those.
Can't do that.
No, I can do bridge.
We'll do it on another podcast because we have to wrap up now, because I've got another phone call in about 7 minutes.
Oh, darling, I've got to go and get a bus.
But
that was wonderful to see you.
Yeah, and to see you. And you're in Pisa, and I'm in. Can you see like the pictures of me and my brother as a kid behind me there?
I can see them, but I can't really see them. And also, when are you next off?
So I'm off on Monday. I'm going to Bali on Monday.
You got
And
True Monday. Oh, look at you, lovely bowl cuts. And we've got the same colour hair.
yeah.
It's kind of like a brunette, but sun blonde, sun bleached brunette almost.
Yeah, it's always kind of been the same. So I'm got that like middle hair color, so I can go lighter or darker.
Yeah. So I've had my hair cut really short because I'm embracing the grey now.
Oh, I love it. It doesn't look
Yeah,
grey. It just looks like white blonde.
exactly. So I'm gonna just get rid of it altogether. Look, I'll let you go because I know you've actually got to go and do something.
Yep,
And next time I speak to you, probably be in
Bali.
Bali.
All right. Speak to you soon. Have a great day.
Yeah. Safe trip. Have fun at the retreat. When does it start?
Uh, Wednesday.
Okay, best of luck.